Okay, I'm back. Um, so I'm talking about, you know, James, and we hit it off online. He continued to call me, um, text me or whatever, mostly on Facebook. He started watching my life on Facebook and on YouTube videos and would comment and say, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry for the hurt and the pain you're going through," and blah, blah, blah. And he was my friend that month. I made a new friend. Just so happened that I moved out away from Nashville, away from my family, because work would not allow me to stay. So I did that. And who do you think is there to see me and to meet me and to help me? This guy shows up at my hotel that I was temporarily staying at when I first had my moving truck and the transport for my vehicle and everything attached to it. And I needed help. He comes walking up and we hugged and kissed and stuff. And he says that day he instantly fell in love with me. I'm not going to say that I fell in love with him that day, but I had a really good feeling about him. So he's like, "Sweetheart, whatever you need any help, please just let me know." And I was like, "Actually, I just got a storage unit and I need to move all this stuff that's in this moving truck. It needs to go into a storage unit. I'm here for you, whatever you need." He's a former fitness trainer and physically active and fit. And we drove over to my storage unit. And he's like, "I don't want you lifting anything. I just want to do it all for you." So he did. He did most of it. I did some of it. But by the end of the day, by the end of actually 5 minutes, he started to sweat and stuff and took his shirt off and went to town and helped me get unloaded. And it was a cool thing to be appreciated like that, you know? Cool thing. So I was so excited that I made a new friend and that he was so giving. We eventually started seeing each other. Um, he helped me move into the apartment that I had with my roommate Olivia, and James and I hit every trail known to man in the Twin Cities. Well, in Minneapolis and the western suburbs. It was an amazing summer. One of the most gorgeous summers that I'll ever remember. There wasn't a hint of humidity in the air. It was like living in Hawaii or something. It was perfect. And people rip on Minnesota, but the truth is that for 6 months out of the year, this is the greatest place to live. Granted, winter comes and you have to pay for your enjoyment, but come in the summer and you will not want to leave. It's a beautiful place. So this Minnesota boy shows me around and takes me out to eat, and we have a great time. And I look at Mindy's question. Is all the pain, suffering worth it? All that I've done in order to be me, is it worth it? Well, I stated a short response and said, is it worth it to breathe? I mean, is it worth it to breathe? Because we as transgendered people, we don't get a chance to breathe. Something that everybody does, and so many people do so effortlessly. But the pain of gender dysphoria is so cruel that I would liken it to just being underwater and gasping for the last breath that's in your lungs, trying to conserve it because you know you're not going to get any more unless you come to the surface. And as soon as you do come to the surface, you take in enough air to get you through, but then you get back down under the water and it starts over again. And you're in this constant gasping for air, going up to get air, gasping for air, going up to get air. And then eventually, when you do transition and you do start hormone treatment and everything, you're out of the water. You don't feel like you're getting tossed under and back up and under and back up and under and back up. You're able to breathe. So I ask people that think that I've paid the ultimate price and that I've caused the ultimate of destruction. But we want to breathe, people. We want to be like you and breathe. Can't we just breathe? I would never be the person that I am today had I not transitioned. So to answer your question, Mindy, yes, it's worth it. Yeah. You can't hide joy. You can't. It comes from the inside of your spirit and just bursts forth out of you like a fountain. There are people that have been put into my path in life who I would never have associated with in the past because of my religious upbringing, who I would shut out of my life. But due to the fact that I have the ability to love more and to love more deeply and care more fully, I have these friends. And some of them are online, and others are real, bona fide, flesh and blood, see them walking around, friends. And I thank God for that. I honestly thank God that I have friends that care for me. I post one thing up on Facebook and a bunch of people respond. It's a far cry from a few years ago whenever I posted something. I get maybe one or two responses or something, and I didn't really have much to say back then. There were the occasional trips that I did with my kids, and we would post pictures of having a good time and stuff, and maybe I had a great job and I wanted to show people where I was, but it was all so surfacey. It was all like this facade hiding only behind good times. Whereas Lynna's life and my Facebook page is really a story of me. If you read my blogs, my Facebook, if you've watched my videos, then you know me. You know who I am. I promised myself that I would never hide again. Never. Why? Because I hid for so long behind the covering that I had on me as male. But like my friend Karen Adele Scott is so adept at saying, we were never men at all. We were always women. And I know it's hard for people to grasp and understand. And I know it's difficult, but the truth is, God made us and formed us in our mother's womb. And He made us this. He divinely ordained that my brain between these two ears would be that of a female. That's just what happened. I don't know why God chose to do this, but you know what? He's God, and I'm not. And I'm fine with that. I don't really want to be God. But people say, all the destruction you've caused and all the problems. Well, look at the life of Job. For those of you who aren't brought up in Christianity or anything, Job was a guy, okay, who had it all. Sort of like me. I mean, I wasn't rich like Job, but I had it all. I had a loving family, a wonderful wife, a great job, the approval of thousands. My mother's son, favored, loved by so many people. Well, Job, in the story in the book of Job, if you guys want to read it, it's pretty interesting. The Bible says that on a certain day, that the devil, Satan, appeared before God in heaven and said, is there, God, you say that there's righteous people, but um, he wanted to pick on Job. And he's like, what about Job? Oh, God was like, oh, he's so righteous and stuff. He loves me. And he begs God and asks him if he could actually tempt and trial and do trials to Job and stuff. And God says, okay. Well, Job starts to go through hell. He loses his family in like a tornado. When his kids are like at a feast at one of the brothers' house and stuff. And Job, this rich guy who owns like the cattle of 1,000 hills and stuff, he's super rich. He loses his family. Then his wife starts saying, you know, what? You must rethink this thing about God, because you should just curse him and die, because all this stuff is happening to you. Not only have we've lost our kids, but we've also lost our herds and our wealth. And finally, Job lost his health. One stipulation that God made to the devil was, you cannot kill him. So his friends all show up one day and they go, Job, you must have done something wrong, or else God would never treat you like this. You must have unconfessed sin, or else God would never, ever do this to you. And Job was like quiet and stuff. And I'm paraphrasing the story, so I don't have it completely 100% right, but I'm just giving you kind of the gist of it. The Cliff Notes version, if you might. And Job, basically, he like says, oh, curse the day I was born. I wish I wasn't in my mother's womb. I wish she didn't give birth to me, and I wouldn't have to be going through all this pain. And Job was remorseful about even ever being alive. And then God steps in and starts telling Job about how much he loves him, how much he has planned for him, how proud he is of him, but also reprimands him for his pride. And in the end of the story, Job is restored. His herds come back like hundredfold, like multiplied over. And he recovers. Of course, he lost his family, lost his children. But I think his wife became pregnant and had more for them as a family. Wow, this is going to be a part 3 even. Crazy. Okay, I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Bye.